meeting of June 28th,
My apologies.
2022 at 9:01 a.m. This meeting is specifically for the Connecticut Appraisal Law course. We are not to discuss or delve into any other matters. You know, this is specifically for that. So we're following the rules and the regulations of the state and just understand where we're at. Any public member, when we will go through asking questions, I will from time to time and try to say, time for questions. Does anyone other input from the public? Please raise your hand and we will get it coordinated, and we want your contributions as well. In fact, they're vital. And that is important for, you know, what we're looking at here. So that being said, I will ask Linda or Terry Jo or Veranda, did we hear from, is Linda going to be joining us? Is Shauna going to be joining us?
Linda looks like she's on.
What's that?
We have Commissioner Sepso on at this time, but we do not have Commissioner Barron, nor have
Okay.
I heard from her that she will be attending this morning.
Okay, we have a quorum then, and we will then start to move forward, okay? Being that we have a specific time. We have, in our last meeting, I had asked for everyone to review the Connecticut Appraisal Law course. And, you know, we were going to go through, and Terry Jo or Veranda, someone had sent over the meeting date and the different topics and so forth, and we had slide references. In my review of the slides, I had 11 different slides I had questions on and so forth. John may have 4 or 24. Linda may have 11, Norris may have 7. So, you know, not to cut anyone out, but I thought we may just want to just start methodically going through each one of the slides and then comments. And I know there were areas, Linda Robitaille, you get us, make sure we cover those areas that, you know, that you and I had talked about yesterday or the day before. I forget when we talked, to make sure there was a couple of items that we were going to make sure
Right.
we do not miss. Okay, so
Right,
does everybody have the Connecticut Appraisal Law course available in front of them? John, you're on mute.
I'm still working on it. Give me a few more minutes and I'll have it up.
Okay,
Wait,
fair
Jerry,
enough.
where are we getting this? I didn't see the law course come in yesterday at all.
Well, from the 2022-24.
Oh, okay, this one.
Appraisal
Okay,
law course.
okay, gotcha. I know what you
Yep.
mean now. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, now what we have here is what Vicki and I have started based on things you have said you wanted in, you wanted out, working on. We had Colin working on it. Unfortunately, our intern, he graduated from UConn, so he's no longer with us. He has a real job. So it still is in very rough shape, and it is not all the way through having been edited.
Okay. Whoever did it, I applaud and so forth, you know, the other work put forth here. Okay, that being said, we see the first slide, 2022-24 appraisal law, then the great state of Connecticut, you know, our flag, so to speak. That's the second slide. We go into the third, it kind of gives us the topics and the general overview.
Right, and this is
Okay.
obviously will change as we move around topics and stuff.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. The fourth slide, then we have whatever the school name, the instructor, contact information, and so forth. Whomever is giving this is what I surmise. If it's the Connecticut Chapter of the Appraisal Institute, if it's theirs, if it's the Greater Hartford Board of Realtors, whatever it may be, is my understanding for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the one
Then
slide the schools can change.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
then this-
What's
Go ahead.
the reminder tab for? Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Just a reminder what school they're taking it from.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Then we get into, and again, how I've set up here, so I'm going to lose track. It's slide 5, okay, that we have the, you know, general information. Then unfortunately, we'll never see Linda Robitaille in there again, whoever the player to be named later. Okay, am I correct with that?
Correct.
Okay. All right, then we're into slide 6. We have Congress, a quick little overview. You know, what may be a little bit different, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. We got the ASC, the Appraisal Foundation. It lays it out, state licensing laws, a quick little clean regulatory component. Then we have regulatory players, ASC Appraisals Committee, UC, let your eyes do the walking and how it's laid out. That's slide 7. And then we get into slide 8 and we have the ASC review. Why, this is the first one I had a question for, and then I'll open, well, let me say this. Are there any questions or concerns with the first 7 slides by any members of the commission? Hearing none, are there any concerns by the general public on slides 1 through 7, or questions, I should say, when I say concerns, questions, what have you?
Jerry, may I ask, can you see me screen sharing? I don't have up my second screen to see.
Yeah, I
If you
can
can
see it,
see
yes,
the picture.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
very well. I just, because these old eyes don't see as well, and with glasses, I have it on a bigger screen over to my right, so if I look like I'm doing it, that's what I'm looking at.
No, not at all. I was just not sure if it was coming through to the commission and to
Okay.
everyone. Sorry
Fair
about
enough.
that. Thank you.
Okay, then slide 8, the ASC review. We have highlight of Connecticut, June, excellent 2-year, and so forth. This is a wonderful slide. Here's my quick question. This is a 218 compliance review summary. Do we not have with the 2021, when we went through this last year, are we able to update this slide? Or maybe this is the most recent information available. I don't know. That's my
That is
question.
that is the most recent information available publicly on their website. The offsite we do not get a rating for the offsite assessment, but we do have notes, Vicki and I, to put a note into, if you, in the notes, there is a info about the offsite assessment, but it's not rated. So the instructor
Okay.
can state that they came virtually in 2021.
Well, I'm showing the AC, as you already have that note, and I'm showing it below that screen. Is that just an editorial note where we can see at the bottom of this chart?
Right,
is-
right. Those are the notes that the instructor sees.
Good, okay, so this instructor, he or she can, tell them, hey, this is what happened
Yeah,
in, a year ago. Okay. Okay.
I got a question on this slide. It's kind of hard for me to see if I'm sitting at my computer, being an old guy with glasses. Can we increase the font a little bit or just change that up a little bit? And the second question I have is, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but it seems like, I know we're all patting ourselves on the back. We got an excellent thing, but it seems egotistical. I think the idea of the slide is not just to say that, hey, we're doing great, but to say exactly what the review process is. So is there a way maybe on the other side over, you can't see my arrow, but on the right side of the slide, maybe, or even add a couple of quick slides that what the ASC does when they come in and review stuff?
I mean, that is something,
We can put as part of the notes, I guess, the 7 areas that they look at in terms of, what we're being rated on. I don't think that's, that's probably one slide, or we can go right underneath.
Yeah.
that.
The reason why I say that is often in conversations, well, not often, but periodically in conversations with people, I have to throw in that, hey, we're not doing this stuff we do off, because we feel like it. We're doing it because we're trying to be compliant. We get reviewed. And once I explain that, they back off, that there's a purpose and a reason why we go through the experience credits, things like that. So I think it might be prudent just to think about, we don't have to change anything here. I'm just suggesting that we add something, where Terry Joe's arrow's going up, or another slide going over what they actually review the commission on. you know, and how they review the commission and how they explain things and come back. to us.
It's new information, so that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I will. We're making notes as we talk, and this is being recorded. You know, as it stands, I'm pulling out the, you know, one of the previous things that they have. The areas in which they look at are, you know, statute, regulations, policy and procedure, temporary practice, national registry, application process, reciprocity, education, and enforcement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So those are the 7 agencies in which we are rated or whatever. And again, we can add a slide on that. I don't have a problem with that. That's how the AST compliance review report is set up based on those 7 categories.
I'd like to say also, I like this slide. I'm pairing off of John here a little bit here, but when you show other states, it's good for people that catch your attention, you know, just to let them go down and take a look. Hey, there are ratings here. They're good, excellent, what they're finding, some needs improvement, and, you know, a 2-year cycle, whatever. I think that's, whoever put that together, I just added a little pizzazz, you know, so, which is good. And listen, if we needed, needs improvement, we'd have it right there, just so everyone can see, make it transparent, you can get an idea. And being that we're in Connecticut, when they're going through the cycles, you're seeing a Mass, you're seeing a Vermont, you're seeing a New York, folks that are, you know, well, not that Vermont borders our state, but you get an idea what's in our area, you know, that we may have appraisers who have reciprocal licenses, you know, in the region. So great. Any other questions on this? John, I didn't cut you. I'm sorry to cut you off if I did. Did you
No,
have a
you
second
didn't.
question?
You didn't cut me off. It's just that I think we need to be transparent though, because so if, let's just say Colorado above us has an excellent and we have a good or a needs improvement one year, because we never know what's going to happen, you know, and we could get this new person accidentally makes a mistake or something and we get dinged on it. That I think it just gives us the opportunity to go through if you know, and I outline why we got the good as time goes on.
But I like that slide. That was okay. Linda Norris, any comments? It's been quiet on your up to this in the first 8 slides. Okay.
Yep, we're fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. All right, then we're going to move on. Slide 9, FIREA and the appraisers, education, experience, testing, and so forth. We lay it out. And then we get into Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. Okay. As you can get an idea of what they're looking at here. Okay. And this, and then we have questions and answers. Anything up to this point, again, I open it up. Are there any hands in the public who have questions up to question 10 or slide 10, excuse me?
Can you go back to that previous slide?
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau?
Yeah. Does it explain? I know, I'm wondering if we should have a little bit more explanation on there on the bottom in the notes.
For the instructor?
For the instructor on what that is. So if they're, you know, just so they can handle it, maybe even a link that they could go to learn a little bit more about it if they need to, or something like that before they teach the class.
We do, Vicki and I do have a note already to put the website on the slide.
Okay, great.
That's excellent. Okay. All right. Very good. Then we questions answers. So that is through whatever slide. I think I'm now up to 12. The next one, appraisal law update 2022, appraisal commission duties. So we lay out, you know, the groundwork or the pillars, what we have here appointed by the governor, just not one political party and so forth. We name whoever is there. Okay. We have that there. Okay. That's slide 14. 15, if you're interested and so forth. I have a question here. Back in January, we were asked to promote, and we got this, you know, hurry up, let's go, where they were looking to appoint, and here we are now, the end of June, and still we have not heard if there's any new appointments and so forth. And Linda Sepso has been, in my opinion, very gracious, only given a year and plus of heads up that she would like to, you know, enjoy retirement fully. and hanging in there. It's almost getting to be the embarrassment point if we bring this up and then we're doing what we're asked and then nothing gets done. By no fault of anybody. I'm not blaming, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying, maybe it's just me. Is this a slide we still want to have in there?
Oh, absolutely.
I think yes, but I also think we might want to add that that they can also call their congressman, because when Chris Italia called me, he told me who to actually call. I had to go to, I believe she was Senator Beth Bai at the time, and go through her and write a letter to her. And it did take a long time. And I know there's a couple other people who have applied in the past that their names never made it to us because of
Right,
their issues.
right.
So there's, I'm not sure how to add in this other than maybe that instead of just consider writing to the governor, because that letter could get lost. I think, either contact, maybe say contact the commissioner or contact your local. I mean, I think we need to make it a little easier than say contact the governor.
John, the same thing happened with me the second time. The first time I came on the board, they were just looking for people and People's Bank wanted to be in on it. So I got in on it. But the second time I did it, it ended up that my cousin's husband was close friends with the governor and he just handed him the letter. And the next day I was on. But I had been on previously, so they knew I knew what I was doing. But I think it's hard to just have somebody write a letter. I have a feeling it probably goes in a bowl that they don't get to very often to look at. You really seem to need. The good part about that is we generally have been able to get people who are more than qualified to handle the things that come up on the commission. So I don't know how you do that though, how you say.
Maybe we leave what we got here. We leave it where it's at,
All right.
It gets, we don't know, listen, the commissioner does what she does here, or whomever is sitting then in there, and then it goes up to the governor. It's, the key is we, as who have been appointed on it, we don't want to make it clubby, for lack of
No.
better words, on who gets
Right.
on, not. It's whoever gets on, we welcome them with open arms. And
So just
done.
curious, I know I don't want to drag this out, I know we have time frame, but before we, finalize this slide, is there a way to find out how other commissions get people on the commission? Do they all have to just
Same way.
write letters to the governor?
Yeah, it's all the
Same
same.
way. It's all the same way.
The problem is though that it's we've gone for how many years now without having enough people on the board. So the problem is not that there's people who have written letters to get on, it's that the process stops and the letters never get forwarded. This is, maybe a half an hour a time for somebody to go through and look at these and say, okay, this person looks like they'd be okay and they're the right territory or whatever it is that they go by. But we haven't had a full board in years.
So, and we all know that, but I have a suggestion is that we consider, there's got to be a regulation that says, how do you apply to get on a commission, right? Got to be some procedure written down, right? There's got to be something somewhere. So maybe we can just reference, for further information, just reference that regulation that states, explains how to get on a commission.
I don't-
For John,
I
for
don't
the
think so.
for the notes, for the notes for the instructor, is that what you're
Yeah.
suggesting?
Yeah,
Okay.
because if someone does come up to the instructor and says, hey, I really want to get on that commission, how do I do it without announcing it in the class, there's something there for the instructor to do it, or I don't know. Can we find out if there is a regulation? I guess I'm asking Vicky.
Yeah, I can find out what the process is. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, and then we just find out what the formal process is rather than us
And if there's a
arguing
website,
over the slide.
if there's a website that goes with that, if there's a link or something, then I can provide that as well. A website or a link for applying. I mean, I know, there is a process. Let me find out.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay. Great.
I'm sorry, what slide number is that? Is that 14? That's 15?
15, 15, 1-5. 15.
I'm just writing that down. Thank you.
Okay. All right, down to the second number 16 slide, meets on Wednesdays, 8:30, and very good, I think. Next slide, Connecticut Real Estate Appraisal Commission duties and responsibilities. We lay out the, the section and so forth. And then here's the responsibilities on whatever, 18.
Jared, can we back up to that open to the public?
Which slide, John?
Back up to the one about opening to the public, where we say open to the public. Can we open to public via Zoom? Can we maybe make comments in here that this is important to the commission, because a lot of people have periodically brought up issues to us that we're not aware of, or explain things, et cetera. It's a chance here for whoever's teaching the class to kind of articulate if they're familiar with what we've done.
Oh, we want to put it, we can put it in the notes.
Yeah, put it in the notes. Yeah.
Just, what is it? Is that slide 16? What slide is on the slide? 16?
I signed
Yes, 16.
In those notes too, there has to be something for the whatever the link is that they'd have to go to get into the Zoom meeting. And that's not going to be the same every single month. So
Yeah, it says insert DCP link.
No, that varies. Every time there's a meeting, you get a different Zoom link.
okay, so as long as you're putting that one in, then that's fine.
We might want to put that in the comments too.
It's posted to the Secretary of State's,
Yeah, it's already posted.
so that's how a person would, if a person was interested,
Yeah.
they would go to the Secretary of State's office, look for the meeting, and then click on the link. That's the
We can
process.
put that in the notes.
We'll put, I'm saying, that's, I'm
Yeah.
explaining, that's the process.
In most cases, the students get a copy of the slides. It might be a good idea to actually put the instructions on a slide so that they can find it and follow them. Because nothing there says go to whatever the department is you just said to look at, and then you can insert, you can click the link. So it has to be very specific.
That's fine. We have decided to have a page of resources that have all of the links in alphabetical order, so.
Okay, just so that they know, because I got to tell you, I mean, especially doing this via Zoom, I have had so many times where I'm teaching this class and fathers and sons are arguing over whatever, because one of them can't figure out how to log on right, and I mean, it's insane. So we have to make this thing, has to be super simple. Whenever we're giving them directions to anything, it's got to be super simple.
Got it. We will have a resource page alphabetical with the link.
Okay, because I mean, there's still a lot of old appraisers out there who Zoom isn't something they're used to.
Okay. John, that answered, and Linda, that answered your questions?
Yep.
Concerns?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'm looking at now, we're moving up to number 19, slide 19. Always enjoy taking a look at that slide here, and just tells you where things are at, where we are with trainees and so forth. The kind of, whoever put this together, tip of the hat, just gets a quick little look. Then the following, when we take a look, the following slide 20, it shows again the numbers, and then a linear total. It was interesting to see how that played in, and also lets the folks know that we have 100 less appraisers, well, 110 really, from 21 to 22. Just it's an interesting thing, and for those who remember way back when in 2005, why the big jump, and that was because there was that interpretation of the law, and if there was all the tax appeals and to do it, if you were a trainee and, or a provisional and so forth, but that's history long gone, but be that. Well, so there, now here comes my next question here, slide 21.
Hold on,
Slide 21.
Jerry, before you
Yes.
jump further, I'm a stickler on making sure something's explained before it's discussed or referenced. In this case, on this particular slide, this slide 19, we on the bottom, we have the acronyms RCR, RCG, and RSP. I'm thinking of the new person coming in for the first or second time taking this class, this law module. Do we explain what the RCR, RCG, and RCP are in any previous slides?
No, but I think, John, that's the obligation of the instructor. That's where they can really, let that out instead of just look at a slide,
There needs to be something in the notes though for the instructor because they don't automatically do it.
Yeah, just like you guys just assumed that everybody knew that.
Right.
The instructor is going to do the same thing, especially if they get, somebody asking them ridiculous questions and the coffee being
And this-
served in the back and things.
Yeah. I mean, when we're doing this, I had a thing where I had to get a guy out of his recliner and up to the screen in order to, he just thought he could lay on his recliner and take a nap while we were teaching this course. So you got to be watching out for everything, but they don't automatically know what RCR and RCG is. They'll say residential, general, and provisional, but the RC and the RS may not ever come into their brain. So it's got to be almost redundant.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good idea just to put it in a note, so it's explained.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so when we get over here to slide 21, we have the pass fail. If you take a look at slide 22, you will then come back to see that we have 2021. We have to let them know, was one of these for the RCR or the RCG?
Yeah, Vicki and I have notes to correct those slides. We just haven't had time to do it yet.
Okay. Fair enough. So for the interesting, was the first one the RCR we had, or I would assume, or maybe I shouldn't assume anything?
I want to
Because-
say yes, based on the numbers.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. We had 10 people take the exam and 21, 3 passed, 7 did not, or
Yeah.
7 takes. Let me say that. Someone may have taken a second or third time, what have you.
Right.
Okay, so
And quite either we're not teaching something right or the test is not a good test.
On this slide, we have no control of the test, right? So on the slide,
none.
I'm just gonna throw out to think about, at least this slide and the other one. Do you think it's necessary for us to put down in each year how many times a person retook a test?
I wouldn't go with that. I wouldn't touch that.
No,
Yeah.
I worked with a student who took the test 6 times before passing. Student's fine, knows the stuff, absolute freak out whenever there's an exam involved. Literally like close to passing out. I've come across that a couple of times.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to focus on the instructor if somebody asks questions, if we should maybe have a little bit more information on the bottom of the slide. I guess not. I'm just talking out loud here, just throwing.
And I
ideas.
don't know if
That's all
we have that information
Yeah.
from
Right.
PSI.
All right. Linda, is there anything that occurred during this period of time between 2010 and 2021 in terms of the test itself or the process or anything that we maybe should drop a note down that might explain some of this? For instance, in 2014, I'm feeling guilty because that's when I came on the commission. I'm kidding. Did we change testing I don't recall anything.
No, John,
No.
what happened was there was a time period where the number of grandfather clauses were coming to an end.
Mm,
Okay, and therefore
That's right.
you had that rush of people trying to get through, or they were going to have to fall back, meeting different requirements. If you
so-
take a look at the second one, that's why you have 12 and 12. You had 24 people take the commercial, the general certified at that time frame. There
Right.
was that big run at that time.
Do we need to explain that in the notes for the instructor in case someone asks him? Or just let this go to scare the hell out
I
of
would-
it and start studying?
I would
Well,
just,
yeah.
that's the bottom line, is there is a gosh darn responsibility by the person going to take
Right.
the exam.
right.
And and never wants to blame, oh, the test is too hard, or I wasn't taught this. You've got to take some responsibility, being the student. Okay.
And I guess what I like about this slide is it's showing, I kind of really like this slide, is it's showing that people are passing
Right.
the exam.
Right.
So,
But the other thing is, we don't ever get a chance to see that exam and review it, because even this time around, we found questions that had the wrong answers marked as right. At least it wasn't, maybe not on the exam itself, but on the exams that are handed out to students to practice on. There were some that had the wrong answer marked right. So now that's telling the student, even if their brain, they're saying, no, I think the answer should be this, but the test is telling me that the answer is this. There's no, it's
Linda,
crazy.
Linda,
Well, I
that's
know you
another
can't do
issue.
it. I
Linda,
know, but it's a real issue for somebody taking this test.
Yeah, but that's an issue maybe we can bring up in another meeting in terms of the
Okay,
slide.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Next slide, appraisal commission oversight for licensure. There's where we get your provisional, certified, reciprocal, temporary, different components.
So I'm wondering if this slide should be before those stats. Can you click on 20? Terry Jo? I'm wondering if that slide should be, somewhere before.
You mean
So-
before 19, John?
Yeah, somewhere up there. Maybe, what's the next one? 18 is. No, I think if we do 19, because 19 breaks up the visual. And if we stick it between 19 and 20, because so now it's explained. Well, maybe not. Maybe it has to go before 19. Put it before 19. Now go to 18. Now go to 19. Because they both say appraiser qualifications. What's the first one say? Board, commission responsibilities, appraiser qualifications, then you get into explaining. Yeah, I think that works. Am I not? No? Am I by myself here?
I whatever works. It doesn't,
All right.
I'm fine anyway.
All right, keep going, Jer. I guess you can jump down to 24 now, right?
Yeah, we're down to 24, is it?
Yeah.
Yep, down to 24. We state the obvious where they're at. 25, review and approve of all qualifying education, review, approve of all continuing ed. Instructor can expand on that if they want. Then the appraisal enforcement, which we get down to 26. And then we go into 27 with questions. Any other questions or thoughts of what we just covered up to that point? John has brought up maybe moving the slide, before we get into the linear charts and bar graphs and so forth. Is there anything else, a question or a question from the general public or comment? When I say question, it's comment, suggestion, whatever. It's just open.
Commissioner Rasmussen, I think what John brought up is a very valid point. And after you have the full description, maybe put those acronyms after it, put residential and then put the RC, so that people have that visual.
That's fine.
It's a good idea.
Then they have that to base on, because again, Linda had stated earlier, the students do get a copy of this material, so they can go back and have that as a reference point. But those acronyms should go after the provisional, so that they have that as a reference point. Most should know it, but I think if you're updating this, it would be good to have that for them. Thank you.
Great.
Clarification, are you putting on slide 19 or slide 18, or which one is it now? I just want to make sure. 19, so, okay, so put it there.
Slide 19.
Yeah, 19
Right.
looks right.
Okay.
Very good, thank you.
Great.
Chairperson, this is Ms. Birdsong. I have a question because the slides were moving a little bit too quick for me, and this is training for me. Which slides were switched in terms of
We're gonna be-
order?
Yeah, I think we're talking about slide 23, and
Correct.
that is
Slide
going to
23.
then, it's going to be before slide 19.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, great. No questions. All right. Any other questions, comments, suggestions? Great. Okay, let's go then into 28, where the responsibilities of commission. But then we get into, 29, the rules, regulation, how to enforce those rules and so forth. 30, if you will notice how this is laid out, whoever did this, I applaud you and so forth, that it goes for about 10, 8, 9, 10 slides, and questions and answers. So we'll go through that to make sure. So if something comes up, it's bugging you, anyone, and then we hit the next question and answer thing. This is great to go back. Hey, we should have done this, that, or whatever. But that being said, all right, here's 30. Table of contents kind of shows where our licensing statute and so forth. Okay, then we jump into 31. Statutes were updated in July 2020 with new proposals, mandatory, and the 2 exemptions. It's great to have, let them know what the exemptions are. That if they were sleeping, that always wakes people up when they hear exemptions. Oh, I better know that, So then we get into 32, real estate appraiser, provisional, and what's involved. And there's with 2 of the instructors, I did it years ago. This is one of those great where you can you can really have some.
Jerry, can I interrupt you for a minute?
Yep.
Go back to the slide with the real estate agents and and just make a note that there should be something written for the whoever's teaching the class, explaining, because this says 2 exemptions. But it to me, that's not that clear, because what we're supposed to be teaching is in a reval, the town is assessing the value of the property, and that's an exemption. And the agents, if they're a broker and it's for a listing, sale, or release, they're establishing a value. But it doesn't say that, and it has to be very clear.
Yeah, I agree
I
with
could
that.
read this and say, oh, they have an exception to do an appraisal. That's not true.
No, that's not true either. It's a broker's price opinion. It has to say that. And I think it
Right.
also has to say that the broker, if they charge a fee, they have to return the fee if they get the listing. And
I think it's, and I'm not sure because I don't have the notes in front of me. But I think it's in the notes for the instructor to go into more detail with that. With this, what statute and reg it is.
I don't care. I think it should. I know it does. I don't mean to be that blunt about this, but this is the problem that has caused why they keep coming forward to try to change our licensing law. So I just think we need to just clear that up right there and nip it in the bud, so no one walks out of here, not if the instructor doesn't go on or something. Just a suggestion on my part.
Okay, what
Yeah.
slide is that?
That's number
Slide 31.
31.
Yep,
Because I
31.
changed them, they're not in my order, so.
Okay.
So we'll just expand on the exemptions.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. hang with, I'm gonna go 2 slides and then we're gonna make, then it goes number 32, where we say real estate appraiser and the provisional appraiser. And then we go to 33, which is question and answer. So was what we just brought up on slide 32, am I correct on that? No, excuse me, 31. Is that the only change we want to make in that block that we just went through? That John just brought up and Linda, talked about? Okay, is there any questions or comments from the general public on the block that we just went through? Okay, hearing none. Twice, 3 times. Okay, that's the one that we will then, address, and then we will move forward here. I believe it's slide 34. The regulations. We go through this, lay them out. We then go with slide 36. Someone had some humor. I
That's
did
cute.
chuckle a time or two on some of the things added in there. Purpose of the appraisal regulations, it protects the consumer. That's why we're here. It's good that we
Maybe
go.
we ought to, public, do we hound the public trust thing coming up?
John, I think you're going to see it, but I know if I were teaching it, I know I would personally, as an instructor, that's just one of those things I would be, I can't shut up. You know what I mean? It's there. And it's like a lead in, are there comments that should go into there, to the instructors, stress this? I think that would be very appropriate,
Okay,
Am I to understand that you want something in the notes about public trust?
yeah, hound.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine. I'm just writing it down.
no, that's,
Okay,
that's,
that's good. That's good.
that's where those notes to the instructor here, this is, it's Barnum and Bailey time, go, well, this is when we can hit this. That's my opinion. But then we get the appraisal regulations. And when I got into here, this is slide number 37. Let me look at my notes. Oh, my next one's coming up a little bit. Nothing. Okay, it says there has been no substantial changes to this section. Was this for the draft? For
This is
us to
from the-
review in red, or is this to be part of a student would see that?
No, if that's what the situation is, and that's what you believe that.
Fair enough. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was on the same page, okay?
I'm not so sure that will apply in this instance because, we do have some proposed changes, but we'll see, but yeah.
Okay. Then we have the next one, appraisal regulations, where it says pass exams. The regulations set forth the requirements as we go through there, and C is required for all licensees. And whoever thought to put that in red, I applaud you. That means it jumps out. And
Yeah,
I
because we
think
still get some of those out-of-state appraisers who don't know they have to do it.
I understand. I mean, you made it clear, and then even, different color to catch your eye. What is the next slide is, and okay, is that what, 40? Am I correct on that? Yeah, I think so. It provides an
Slide
appraisal
number-
question.
Slide number 38, Commissioner Rasmussen.
All right, thank you. Obviously I'm looking at another screen as we're going back and forth here. There's been, again, no substantial changes in section. Then the new regulations state, appraisal regulations. Okay. Reviewers.
Yeah, we
Appraisal regula-
will, it's not a
Go
new
ahead.
reg, it was here for the last one. So we'll remove the new regulation, but this one I think is still important because we still get a lot of calls, whether they need a license to do certain things
Mhm.
when they come to the state, so.
Okay. Then you had, what was that, 41? No changes, and then we got questions, answers, excuse me. So the last block we went through, any additional comments, suggestions, additions, deletions, whatever.
This is where we will put the new regulation regarding evaluations that we're waiting on John for.
Commercial evaluation.
So that's going to come right after 41 or,
Yeah, before,
Okay.
yeah, before questions and answers, because that is
Okay.
a new reg, so that went into effect since this has been updated.
Okay,
okay,
so that will go in that, I'm making note. Okay, so that's between 41 and 42 as
Yeah,
we have it right now. Yep,
right.
okay. John, how are you coming along on that bad boy?
I got all the information to put in there. But I'm gonna be honest, just the first time I've seen this PowerPoint here. I never got
Yeah,
a link to it. So, yeah, it's pretty simple to put in. So it's not I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, we just want to make sure we have the information how you think it should be explained.
Okay.
all right, good. All right, hey,
Well-
listen, that's why we're doing this.
So for all these regulations where you're just putting the title, there's going to be a reference page, Summers, I think Vicky had said, that has the link of where they can find the descriptions, correct? And more detailed information. There'll be a
Correct.
reference page with the landing pages. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we're going to put the links on the website, I mean, on the slide itself, and we will have a resource page of all of the links that are provided throughout the.
And we'll ask the schools to forward it to the students that are taking the classes, especially the ones, maybe taking it by Zoom. They're not gonna be able to like click on the link or anything.
right,
so.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other thoughts or comments into that block up through whatever we have is at 42 right now? Okay, now let's go for the next block. 43 appraisal law updates, Connecticut appraisal licensing categories. There we are, and here it was way back when. Is this where we want to take this one, John and Linda, that you brought all the way up before when we had it real early? See, this is where I knew it was somewhere when I read this last night, RSB, RCRs, and RCGs.
Maybe
We can just leave it here.
can we just run through this section, Jerry? And I'm wondering if this section should be before that.
Okay, let's get through the section. Okay,
Yeah,
let's see what we
actually,
got here.
I can tell
Go
you,
ahead, Linda.
we have a note to add this to the third section and to combine the slides so they flow better. So I think we do plan on moving some of this.
Okay. All right, we'll just go through it here. We see that appraiser's note or the instructor's notes, excuse me, under the lower. Right now we got Connecticut appraiser categories. We go through those. Permissive, not permissive on the RCRs.
Can we go
Great.
back to the not permissive? Does it?
Yep.
This has come up a couple of times on, for the RCR, specialized, not doing specialized residential. Do we address that here?
What's specialized residential?
The subdivisions and things like that. I went back and read the.
Oh, but it's always,
no,
as far
the
as I know,
reason-
it's always just means the land. We can't.
No, on the, you know what, I'll make a note and I'm gonna review this and come back rather than wasting time. The reason
Okay.
why is those podcasts that they put out, the Appraisal Foundation, they,
Oh.
a month ago or so, they were addressing this. And they were talking about the RCA and not doing specialized residential. It was interesting what they were commenting on. It was more than just subdivisions.
Yeah.
All right, I'll research that.
Okay, thanks, John.
Okay, then we go Connecticut's appraisers, other categories where retirement and so forth. That is slide number 46. And I learned something. So if someone wants to retire, they have to submit, they got to pay a $20 fee.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that all these years. I did not know that.
Well,
So-
this is, if you retire and you think maybe 3 years from now, you may want to go back in and start appraising again. I mean, if you know you will never do another appraisal in your life, you don't need to actually get a retiree license and pay the
Mhm.
fee. You can just let your license lapse. But if
But I
you think
think-
there's that possibility,
I think whoever put this in, I applaud you immensely, because you look at the demographics of what we're dealing with here.
Yep.
And, people have to make that decision. I think this is very good to have this.
Yeah, I think there's some confusion in the market that once they give up their license, they're done. I
Yep.
think that's a good, yeah.
well, if they give up their license without doing a retirement license, they
Yeah,
got
they're
2
done.
years to reinstate or they're done.
Right.
So on this retirement thing, is there a limit? Can they go at 65, come back at 75?
Yep.
As long as they've paid their money every year.
No, they don't have, that's the thing with the retirement. They only pay the $20 fee when
Once?
they, once.
Oh, I
And
thought that
then-
had paid every year.
No, they pay it once and then when they want to come back, they pay the current fee.
Right.
The catch with appraisers versus the other licensees in the state is they have to do all their CE for each cycle.
Right.
Because the
Maybe we
feds
need
say
to
that.
explain that in the comments so that someone doesn't get confused.
Yeah, it probably. Well, I don't, maybe it's on the next slide, but there should be something that says, but if you think you might come back, you have to
Well,
keep
we say
taking the
if
courses.
she has that, if you think you may need or want to work, continue to take CE. I think that's a great line, whoever put that in.
Yeah. and I
No,
think
but
they-
it's got to be clearer than that, because they might retire for a year and not take any CE, or 2 years, and then say they got to go back. They've missed that ability to continue to take the
But-
CE as it's required.
Linda, look at the next slide.
Okay,
Go to the next slide, please.
I can't go to the next until you put it.
Yeah, there
yeah.
they go. Yeah,
Okay.
all right, here we go. License and retirements must continue to complete the required CE cycle if they wish to reactivate the license at any point.
Yeah, I think that's
Mo-
confusing. I think the sentence before seems something, says something a little bit different. That if they want to, if they think they might want to work, they do have to continue to take continuing
Right.
ed from
Yeah.
the get-go.
Yeah,
They can't skip
Yeah.
2 years and then say, oh, okay, I'll take it now.
Maybe we reorganize those two slides, because if you go back to the previous one, Terry, Joe, it says, send in your license and do not renew. Does this mean you have to do both? Complete the retire, it's or, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
in
no, you
order.
have
Your
to
license-
send- right, no, it's both.
Okay,
The form asks you to send in a copy of your active license
And not renew it. Okay,
and not renew it.
okay. And then complete the retirement form and submit
so
$20.
is
Okay.
that, I'm just a little confused myself. So say I'm gonna retire, which I plan on doing on the day I turn 65, by the way. But say I plan on retiring. And do I have to can I just not renew anything?
If you don't renew and you know you won't, you can, but if you think you might want to come back, then you need to do the retirement one. Because you have to have an active license to do
Yep.
the retirement license.
All right, am I missing something? Because that just doesn't seem that clear. Maybe it's just me, but that just doesn't seem that clear.
Well, what? So this
John,
says that if like,
if you, go ahead, I'm sorry.
that's right. Roger retired his license a couple of years ago. So he was going to just retire completely. I said, no, you're not. What if I drop dead? Somebody's got to run the business and you need to have your license again. So he can at any time go back because I make him take the continuing ed all the time. So at any point in time, if I do drop dead and he has to run the company, he can just go right back and apply for his license because he's taken all his continuing ed. But you
Correct.
have to have done that. You can't retire for, two
No, no,
full years and then,
No, I know that, Linda. I'm talking about
okay.
the slide and communicating in the slide.
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
wondering if we should add, I like this requirement. Do you think you want to retire? Go back to that, please. To that, and then it says must be 65 or older, and then maybe we add in here that, you can just not renew altogether. And in that case, that's it. If you want to renew after that, you got to start the cycle over, or then go into this must be
Right.
this other process. I'm
Right,
just
because
think we
this
need
is
to-
a retirement license.
This one is.
Yeah,
So
but
the
it doesn't-
slide
what-
before this should have said something else.
Yeah, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say retirement license. I
Go
didn't
to
get,
slide 46, Chair.
yeah, there's nothing that says this is a retirement license. I immediately went to retirement next exit, and I'm wondering where the hell that exit is, because I want to go there. So I don't see anything here that says this is a retirement license. I think it just
Okay.
needs to be cleared
If
up.
we go to the next slide, please.
Yep.
Next one, please. It says, add Linda new content, add more details to clear misunderstandings. Okay? So
Okay.
this is where, you
Yeah.
know, we could smell it coming, no problem, you know,
Yep.
but here, you know.
Yeah, because
we know. Go ahead.
I mean, some people, this is neat because as long as you're 65, you have an option. If you're 40 and you quit, you don't have an option.
Right.
You know, you're done. You got to start all over again from the beginning. If you quit for a period of time and then, you know, it's not just that you don't do any appraisals, but you don't apply for your license or anything like that, you know. the whole-
Maybe we should add
yeah.
that in the notes. We don't have to put that on the slide, but we should add to the notes just to remind the instructor, because someone's gonna ask that
Yeah,
in some class.
yeah, I do get questions on that.
All right, we can move on. We just have to clear those up then.
Yep.
right?
Okay, folks, and so now I'm at 49. I'm gonna have to drop off in a moment, okay? But I'm just gonna point out one thing. Could we please go to slide 109? Okay, if we look in here, we gotta make that correction where we say 4-hour CT appraisal law update. We gotta put that
Oh
in
yeah,
as a
it's 3
3,
hour.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, I have it. We just haven't updated the slide yet.
Right, and then when you get down to the note, you know, the remaining 18 hours and so forth,
Mhm.
that
Right.
slide, okay?
Yeah.
I have, and my other quick question, if I may, and then folks, if you can, for those who can stay on, go ahead and run with it. Could we go to 65, please? And we have in there, run everything by an attorney.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Are we crossing the,
Absolutely.
no, oh yeah, that's a business decision. We are the appraisal commission, the Connecticut law. Okay?
Most, I
What
mean,
are we
almost,
running things by an attorney? Why?
well, you could, well, for one thing, because half of the people who are reading the contract that's written don't understand what they're signing.
No, I don't think we need that there. I think that's really crossing the line. with
Oh.
stuff. I'm kind of on Jerry's side on this.
Well, maybe
Maybe we can.
as
put-
an option, you may run it by an attorney, but
make which
a lot
one-
of people are too trusting and they just would take it and they don't understand what they're doing. I've seen a lot of contracts. I have contracts with every single one of my appraisers, and every single time I did it, I said, just make sure an attorney reads it and you're clear about it.
No, because I'm concerned about this, because the attorney, I think if you go to an attorney, I think it just causes problems for both sides and it creates distrust. I mean, the person, right, as an employer, I'm still bound by USPAP, and then if I'm an appraisal institute member, an ASA member, or whatever, I have ethics there that I have to bound by too. So, you know, I don't, you know.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with you taking it off. I will continue to advise every single one of
Yeah,
my
that's fine.
contractors to take it to an attorney.
So Jerry, now that you're gonna be heading out, can I make a suggestion? Since I really didn't, this is the first time I'm really seeing this. I know we have timeframes and we're up against, but I would really like to pause
Right?
and have us all together.
Yeah.
Putting input, and maybe I can get this and I can go back through it. And then we meet again. Is that a problem?
I think that'd be great because I'd like to have a chance to read some of the comments too.
Okay, I'm turning to Vicky and to Linda. We have a meeting scheduled for July, what are we on?
13th, July 13th.
Right? Thank you. Do we want to have it the week after? Not the week between now and then, because
Can't hear you, Jared. Can't hear you.
the week, can you hear, because?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I'm sorry. Do we want to do like, oh heck, the 21st of a Thursday on the 21st?
Vicky and I are on vacation.
Okay. that
I'm
doesn't
game,
work.
I'm game to meet whenever it's, and you know, even if you want to meet an hour before our meeting, I think if we keep these to 1 hour.
Or before our meeting, but our meeting starts at 8:30.
No, I mean, not that, I'm sorry, Vicky, I didn't mean to communicate that. I mean, between July 4th and our July 13th, if we squeeze another hour and have another hour meeting on this. I just think these are very productive, but I'm gonna tell you, after an hour, I have trouble unless I,
Commissioner, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Rasmussen?
That's close enough. That's fine. Rasmussen,
Okay,
that's
all
great.
right.
You did
I just
fine.
want to,
Well,
thank you. I just want to give a suggestion because I'm keeping a master calendar as I will be the board coordinator for 13 boards.
Okay.
Between July 3rd and July 5th, July 4th, we're out, July 5th through 8th, the calendar is pretty free except for another board meeting. So if anyone is amicable to meeting for another hour that week, it could work if DCP staff is also available. Just want to throw that out as a suggestion.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. The only day I have available that I'm not on the road, and I mean on the road, is the 8th, which is a Friday.
I'm available all day the 8th.
Yeah, me too.
I can do the 8th.
Yeah, I
Do
can
we
do
want,
Friday, July 8th, that's fine.
I'm
we wanna
also
say-
free.
okay, could we want to say 9 a.m.?
You have to
That's-
give so many days notice for a special meeting.
Yes, Jackie, we're going through that right now.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Sorry.
And that's the next question. Do we fit into law?
Oh, yeah, that's within time.
Today is the
It'll be 10
20
days, so if we notice it today, we should be good.
Okay. As long as it fits in the law, that's fine. Folks, then 9 o'clock on the 8th, is that correct?
Do we want to set a time frame like 9 to 10:30 or 9 to 11 or 9 to 10 or something?
I have literally 1 hour, John.
So we'll just
Okay,
do
9
9
to
to 10.
10.
There we go.
Okay.
Works for me.
All right. Folks, I don't mean thank you. We'll call, we need a motion to end this meeting.
I make a motion to end the meeting.
A second. Calling for a second.
Second.
A second by Norris. Ayes,
Aye.
nays. Thank you. I don't mean to run, but I gotta jump on the next.